Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's see. What do these tea leaves have to say? And so tonight our card is the Six of Discs. And this has everything to do with success, material gain, harmonious energies between the spheres of your life, your home life, your work life, your interior world. Projects that you've been working on really coming together. And big payoffs, really. Okay, so I want to look at this one first. It looks like eyes. Okay, so I feel like there's a sense of being witnessed. Okay, and I feel that this is a really distinct feeling. And I know recently in one of the last 2 or 3 Capricorn readings, we talked about this. Somebody kind of watching what you're doing. Now, I think that this is a similar feeling. I don't know that this is the same situation. Okay. I think that here we have it's a sense of something maybe otherworldly. Okay. Somebody who is kind of guiding you. It almost feels like a guardian angel. Okay, something like some kind of divine thing that is really kind of protecting you, cheering you on, taking part in your motivation and helping keep your life clear so that you may experience success, right? Continued fortune. And now, as we turn this, I want to look at this, and it looks like, to me, we have an H and an E. Okay, so it says he. And to me, this means that it is kind of probably a masculine energy, but kind of, I think that this is maybe somewhat, it could, I think that if you are a religious person, you know who this is, right? If you are a spiritual person, you know who this is. If you are somebody who partakes in, the occult or some kind of magical system, then you know who this is. You know who this is tied to you. You know who this is that you tie yourself to. And being part of that strand that leads into that other place, into the divine. Okay, and we may call this by different names. We may have different visions of what this might be, but you as an individual know who is in your life, right? Who is watching out for you. And one of my favorite quotes, and I always forget, I need to write it down on something and put it on the wall next to me here. But one of my favorite sentiments, quotes, I'll fudge it up a little bit. But it is that there are as many ways to God or the divine as there are beings on earth, or really in the universe, right? So, there's no singular way, in my opinion. There is no wrong way, in my opinion. We all have our own relationship and our own conception of reality, of the ultra realities, sub-realities, and the divine. So, this is a big energy for you. And this makes sense to me, Capricorn. You have been really just doing so well. Every reading, I'm just like, wow, Capricorn, this is really must be your year, or it is getting into a mode of being your year. Okay. Now let's take a look here. I want to look at this one. And we have something that looks kind of like a dog, okay? And it looks like maybe it's playing with something. And I feel like you have this tremendous playful energy. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you are in that successful mode. I feel that you really have set some financial goals. Okay, that's a big thing. You have stuck to the work that you have wanted to do. You continue to do it. You're very motivated. I also believe that you are probably a fairly frugal person. You are mindful about how you spend your resources, and kind of a person that thinks about saving for the future. And I'm not saying that you have, like, what's that guy's name? The uncle's, what is the duck? The Donald Ducks, or no, is it Donald Ducks? I don't know. It's the duck that has all the little coins, and they're in a little pile, and he goes swimming in them. And I don't think that that's it. You're not hoarding wealth necessarily, but I do think that you are concerned about some amount of leeway, about retirement, about having some sense of security, and even if it is just that, a sense of security, I think that this really lightens your kind of psychic load. I think that this puts you into that more, it's not carefree, but it is, right? Because you are very focused on doing the work and sticking to this kind of master plan that you have. And I'm sure you've set up things where you can put aside money and invest and whatever. But there is an element of being kind of enjoying life, feeling confident in the things that you do. And I see here we have, it looks like a little fairy, kind of, with the wings and the arm up and kind of pointing over here. And this one looks like, it reminds me of like a stork, maybe, a tall bird. And for me, these storks, heron, whatever it is, these birds you often see standing in shallow waters, maybe in a pond or a lake, and they just kind of stand there, right, like a crane, and they're almost kind of meditative. They will wait for their catch, and they stand in the sun, and it's beautiful and serene, and they are patient, and they go slowly until they don't, and then they have to strike, right? And they're beautiful birds. They dance and they have fun together, and they enjoy their partners. And I see this kind of beautiful fae type symbol of something quite magical, almost a little innocent, still tied to the imagination, loving and giving, and kind of living in that subtle place, right? Kind of hidden among all of the things, right? I think of like the Green Man, or one of those I Spy type of pictures where there are little images kind of hidden among a lot of repetitive things, like a bunch of leaves, and one is kind of shaped as like a little stick bug or something, and you have to find it. And this is where that kind of magic really is. It is woven into everything. And so I think that, you have a great love, care for the mystery, for that beautiful feeling of being alive and interconnected. And I think from this, there is kind of a calling towards being of service to others. I could see you in this place of confidence, success, motivation, feeling happy and a little bit loose of the great stresses of life, opening yourself up to share your abilities, to do some kind of teaching or mentoring, taking on an apprentice or something like this, okay? And I could see that. I think that you would be a really a good teacher, because you are somewhat mild-mannered. You listen, right? You're patient. You get things done, and you show up where you need to. And that's a big thing about teaching, right? Or being somebody's mentor, to assist somebody through especially the early processes of learning a new trade, a new skill, just getting into a new field. And so I feel that you bring this amount of magic, you bring this amount of innovation, but also that motivation is a big, staying the course, right? Finding a way to make it work for you, to enjoy what you're doing. And that's so important. And I think that when we have teachers or people that are somewhat happy or have a great love for whatever it is that they do, that really changes how we feel as students, right? How we feel about whatever it is we're studying. Okay, it gives you kind of a glimpse into really being able to see yourself devoted to something, to being able to master something over time, because you see somebody else loves it so much. They're so careful with the knowledge, so so alive in doing whatever it is that they do. And I think of something like, an engineer or a doctor, or I don't know, somebody, the contractor or something, really loves going to do what they do, really enjoys creating, really enjoys helping other people. helping envision a world that is changing, that is growing, that is evolving, right? And ultimately, is that not how we heal the world, heal our communities, heal our families and ourselves? You know, by finding beauty in things, by spending the time to beautify, to better, to build up, right? And so I see that you could be somebody that people are drawn to, that they can hear, they listen. You speak to them and you hear what they have to say, and there's a dialogue there, right? And so I think that this is something to consider. I think that you've probably already thought about it, right? But I think that, you know, I feel like probably you had a lot of happiness in your own learning, okay? And so now that you are making money, you know, having more resources, and within a career path that you enjoy, it maybe is self-created, maybe this is your own business. I see that this could be a very loving and balanced thing for you. And I see here we have a flower growing, and you know, it's just a blooming, and another flower here, right? It's just blooming. And I think with that balance, that care, you know, with all this said, there's also just this deep sense of confidence in who you are as a person, which is ultimately one of the greatest gifts. You know, to get to a place where you feel like you're doing something that is meaningful to you, okay? I think so often a lot of us become so disenchanted, disenfranchised by that, set kind of adrift, right? Not knowing, what does this mean? Why do I go through the motions of all of this? Do I even care about anything? You know, things feel bland, and so on. But then when you get into a place where there is meaning, there is love and excitement, and it is enjoyable. And yeah, you have your days where everything goes wrong and it's hard, but then you keep going, right? You keep showing up. And that's a wonderful thing. So, let's see, what do we have over here? And I have to go back. I was looking, I just saw this as I was putting it down. It looks like a little fox, okay? And to me, what this says, within the context of this reading, is that there's also some kind of trickstery spirit here. And I think that this has a lot to do with that kind of fun, the other canine image we saw. Where did they go? Where's the... Yeah, this one. Sometimes I turn them and I'm like, oh, is that the same thing? Yes, the canine right here. So, I think seeing the fox, it makes me think of the night visitor. And it's called a fox maiden, I think. And this is something not unlike a succubus, which is kind of an entity that visits you at night, and you can look it up. But there's also this kind of fox, like shape-shifting type of entity. And I'm not thinking of this as literally that, but just the energy of kind of this mysterious night creature. Something a little bit elusive, something that has a sense of enchanting kind of energy, and just really kind of pulling you out into that kind of nighttime wonder, going out into the shadows a little bit, right? Going into places that you've never been, places that are a little bit frightening, right? And kind of enjoying a little bit of the edginess of life, okay? And I think that this is not a usual thing for you, but I think it's, you know, every so often this energy will present itself in our lives, and we will remember, oh yeah, there's like a whole other life going on out there, a whole other universe, people doing all kinds of things. I mean, for me, I usually go to bed at no, because I work at night now, but I used to go to bed at like 7:30 every night, you know, and of course I'd wake up with the baby and stuff, but my whole life was centered around going to bed early, getting up early. There was not a ton of mystery going on for at least a few years. And then there are small moments where I realize, wow, there's, you know, it's been a long time since I remember going out late. A long time since I remember, you know, sitting out and watching the bats and the stars and you know, the raccoons running amok down the neighborhood, and these kinds of wondrous things, the flowers that bloom at night. Oh, have you ever been outside to see the flowers that come out at night? They're very beautiful, the moonflowers, and so many other interesting things that are going on. Catching a glimpse of a possum, you know, kind of scurrying through the yard or something. It's a whole other world, and it's magnificent. So, let's see. What do we have in here? Not a lot. But I really just think, you know, with all of this, that there's a lot of excitement. There's a sense of possibility, right? And I think that's a big feeling here, is that there are just possibilities here for you. And I think that, you know, it's going to be something for you to find time in your busy schedule to kind of do some of these things. Maybe, yeah, go do like a little community class. Go, you know, find somebody to mentor. Whatever it is, however you do that, you know, this is a world that is very connected and yet very far apart, right? It's hard to get to know people. It's hard to have time to get to know people. And when you have the inclination to do so, it's important to hopefully take advantage of that as much as you can. Of course, be mindful and discerning, you know, but I think this is a wonderful, wonderful time for you, Capricorn. And I'm always so happy to do these readings because, you know, it seems like every time it's really good energy. So I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it's helping us get into the algorithm and grow the channel. If you have not subscribed, please think about doing so. Hopefully, as I'm doing this reading, we are hitting 13K already. So, you know, it's going going. And I haven't even had the channel for a year. So I'm pretty proud of myself, of my husband, who, you know, helps a lot with all of this, and very proud of the community here. All of you guys, you are amazing. So other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I read all of them. I try to get back to them really quickly. Sometimes it takes a day or two. It just depends on what's going on. Yeah, so other than that, we will talk again very soon.